Yes, I made this PowerPoint to increase your learning, and we're going to call it Why Do I Have Misophonia? And we're going to talk about root causes and how they can create the expression that you call misophonia. Okay, so let's see if I can do this right. Okay, a lot of diseases have very common symptoms, and usually there's a common causation. So in all the chronic diseases that I tend to treat, okay, notice that they all have very similar symptoms, and I did put an arrow there showing that things like chronic Lyme, fibromyalgia, dysautonomia, stuff like that, there's sometimes a sensitivity to light. There's also a sensitivity to sound, and that can be phonophobia, and sometimes when it's a very specific sound, they call it misophonia. And there is a common ground to all of this, and it's called the cell danger response. Well, if you really want to get technical, this is the paper, if you want to look it up, okay? And basically what it is our bodies, our cells, have a method of killing and trapping and killing whatever pathogens try and come in and bother us, okay? And by the way, the mitochondria is the main player in this, okay? And let's face it, I could go through all the technical stuff, but as Albert Einstein said, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. And isn't that true? So what is a cell danger response? Okay, to put it simply, the metabolic response of a cell to protect itself and thereby you from harm. Notice the bear protecting the wolf. It's the basis of reestablishing your normal function, and all of it occurs in the mitochondria. I found a baby mitochondrion. Look at that, with a face. Remember the mitochondria? Well, remember, this is one of the most ignored and misunderstood or not understood things in medicine. Okay, it may be all in your head, but guess what? It's affecting all your other organs, right? A lot of doctors, practitioners don't know a lot about the mitochondria. And basically, that's what we're going to fix in you, because that is what provides you with all the energy and how you're going to heal. So I found this funny Mito the movie. Okay. So what activates the cell danger response and thereby hurting the mitochondria and thereby hurting you? Well, it makes kind of sense, don't you think? Heavy metals, plastics, benzene, shock, radiation, trauma. In other words, you really don't want to go near Chernobyl again, you know what I'm saying? Okay, things like mold, fungi, bacteria, parasites, and don't you know, I forgot to put in viruses. And then there's the whole psychological, emotional, and spiritual realm, where yelling, abuse, isolation, abandonment, PTSD, these are all things that can and do injure the cell. So if anybody says it's all in your head, after you knock them down and you pick them up, okay, just remember that if there is and this is not for true with you, but this is just true with people, okay, that if there is a psychological cause or an emotional, upheaval that may have really affected them, it's affecting and injuring the cell just as much as if they got Lyme disease, just as much if they were hit with heavy metals. This results, when cell danger response happens, it results in a cascade of events. Okay, I think I did something wrong, so I'm doing it again. What happens with the cell danger response is that there's temporary interference in areas like electron flow, oxygen consumption, cellular fluidity, vitamin availability, and metal homeostasis. What does that all mean? Well, the inside of the cell becomes more oxidized, and it makes the environment, shall we say, inhospitable for the pathogens. So that's how we get rid of them. And what am I doing wrong? So when the danger is past, and you'll notice Danger Mouse from the UK, Danger Mouse, Danger Mouse, Danger Mouse. Oh, He's fantastic. He's amazing. Anyway, the sequence of what happens is when the danger passes, we have mechanisms that will reverse this cell danger response, promote your healing, and take away the interference so that normal function occurs again. My dearest niece, when there is chronic or multiple cell danger responses, those interference things I talked about remain, and even worse, they synergize. So guess what? You have numerous downstream effects, healing mechanisms become ineffective, and in order for you to heal, healing becomes impossible unless you treat the root causes and all the downstream effects, because a stuck cell danger response creates the root of all evil. And by the way, the root of all evil is not money. It's the love of money. That's the root of all evil. That's in the Bible. The root of all evil is inflammation and all the suffering we face. Okay? Inflammation, if you look at this particular poster, okay, this will tell you how an inflammation affects the entire body. And this was made by livelovefruit.com. No idea who these people are, but they made a great poster. And if you look at the brain and the skin and the liver, you'll find out that when you have chronic inflammation, it's affecting all parts of your body. So it makes sense that it would affect the nervous system. It would affect, different pathways and make you express certain symptoms. Okay, so it's really a matter of what started it off and made those pathways not work well, and this way you end up with certain symptoms. Now, chronic inflammation has caused a rise in health issues. Okay, and since I'm a lot older than you, but I've noticed, and I think your moms will bear me out, that health issues have gotten worse over the past 30, 40, 50 years. Okay, and chronic inflammation is a big deal because it's practically everywhere. And it will do things like create heart problems, diabetes, metabolic disorders. But the number one target for chronic inflammation, which is sometimes known as chronic inflammatory response syndrome, is the nervous system. Okay? So a lot of the inflammation of whatever, or actually whatever causes it, tends to affect the nervous system and give you different types of symptoms that are listed here. And remember that things like ASD, OCD, these things are not actual diagnoses. These are just descriptions of things like postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, POTS. Okay, these things are not actual diagnoses. These are lists of symptoms and really don't talk about what actually caused them. Okay, so that's where we have to start thinking. Okay, let's see if I can do this right. And part of healing is getting your cell membranes working again, okay? Because if they're leaky, lots of stuff is going to happen. You won't be able to create energy. Remember that the cell membrane is what holds things out that are supposed to be out, holds things in that are supposed to be in. It also allows you to transfer proteins and so forth and so on. Wrong button again. Another wrong button. Try it again. Okay. Gee. And this is something you should always remember. All of life happens within the cells. If you can fix a cell, you can fix a person. And this is what I'm starting to do with you. Because when you put cells together, you get tissues. When you put tissues together, you get organs. When you put organs together, you get a person. Okay? It all starts with the cells, and we can't ignore it. You can't treat the end result. You've got to treat where it comes from. Okay. So the master of the cell is the cell membrane, because without the cell membrane, We can't transmit messages. We can't do anything with our proteins. It has the receptors for all the various biological functions. And this is where, the immune system actually works. So a leaky cell membrane, which is a big deal of what you have also, believe me, okay, is something that needs to be dealt with. And we'll talk a little bit about leaky gut. Okay, when the gut is leaky, and we haven't talked about it yet, but we will. Okay, I want you to understand that when the gut barrier is breached, you're going to start to get food allergies and then immune system abnormalities, and that's what leads to autoimmunity. And guess what? That's all a matter of chronic inflammation, how long you've had it. So here it is. You get the cell danger response. It causes chronic inflammation, which causes cell damage, which creates imbalances in all your systems, and in you it comes out as misophonia, anxiety, etc., etc. Comes out differently in different people, and that is not unusual because we all have different genetics. So listen, this stuff doesn't have to be hard. If you go to these cell membrane wrap and the cell song and this is from science music videos. If you really want to learn this stuff, you want to hear good music, this is great. I found this plate that says misophonia treatment, and you can read it as well as I can. But I'm sorry, I don't mean to disrespect anybody, but in my estimation, this is all nonsense. Okay, if you eradicate the root causes, you have to discover them, and all the downstream effects, the damage caused by the damage caused by the root causes, and you will heal. I promise you, you will heal. And for whatever it's worth, it has the benefit of not having been done before. So anyway, Rue, I love you to the moon and back, and I hope to talk to you next week. Okay, baby? Catch you later. Bye-bye.